My parents always chose my sister over me growing up. I thought every family was like mine. Whenever my older sister, Emily, wanted something, she got it. A new phone? She got it. Expensive clothes? She got them. A birthday party with dozens of friends? My parents spent weeks planning it. I told myself it was because she was older. But as the years passed, that excuse stopped making sense. When I turned 13, I asked my parents for a bicycle. They told me money was tight. 2 months later, Emily got a brand new laptop. When I asked why, my father said, "Your sister needs it more." Those words became a pattern. She needs it more. She's under more pressure. She's older. You're a boy. You'll manage. Every achievement of mine felt invisible. I brought home top grades. My mother glanced at the report card and nodded. Emily passed a difficult exam. The whole family went out to celebrate. One evening, I overheard my parents talking. My mother said, "Emily is our future. We have to invest in her." I stood outside the door, frozen, not because they loved her, because it sounded like I wasn't part of that future. After that, I stopped trying to impress them. I studied for myself. I worked part-time after school. I saved every rupee I could. No one noticed. Years later, I received a scholarship to a university in another city. When I showed the acceptance letter to my parents, my father barely looked up from his phone. "That's nice," he said. That night, I packed my bags. For the first time in my life, I wasn't leaving because someone wanted me to. I was leaving because I chose to. College wasn't easy. There were nights I went to bed hungry, days when I doubted everything. But every setback taught me something my childhood never had: how to rely on myself. After graduation, I started a small business, then another. The first failed. The second struggled. The third finally worked. Years passed. Slowly, my life changed. One afternoon, my phone rang. It was my mother. Her voice sounded older, smaller. She told me my father had lost his job. They were struggling. For a moment, I remembered every birthday they forgot, every achievement they ignored, every time I heard, "Your sister needs it more." I could have hung up. I could have walked away. Instead, I helped them. Not because they deserved it, because I didn't want to become bitter. When I visited home a few months later, I noticed something strange. Emily's room was empty. She had moved abroad and rarely called. My father sat quietly at the dining table. Then he looked at me and said something I never expected to hear. "We were wrong." Just 4 words, but they carried years of regret. My mother started crying. "We thought you didn't need us," she said. "We thought you were strong enough on your own." I smiled sadly. That was the problem. They assumed strength meant not needing love. For the first time, my parents saw me, not as the child who could manage, not as the backup plan, just as their son. And somehow, after all those years, that was enough.
Loved my little brother more than me. My name is Sarah, and for as long as I can remember, my little brother was my mother's favorite. When I was 8 and he was 6, I noticed it for the first time. I got second place in a school art competition. I ran home excited to show my parents the certificate. My mother glanced at it for 2 seconds before turning back to my brother. "That's nice, sweetheart." Then she spent the next 30 minutes praising the drawing my brother had made in kindergarten. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but the years proved otherwise. When my brother forgot to do his homework, my mother blamed the teacher. When I forgot mine, she called me irresponsible. When he broke a vase, it was an accident. When I spilled a glass of water, I got grounded. The worst part wasn't my mother, it was my father, because he saw everything and said nothing. Whenever I tried talking to him, he would smile awkwardly and say, "You know how your mother is," as if that made it okay. By the time I turned 16, I stopped asking for things. My brother got a new gaming console. I got told to be grateful for what I already had. He got driving lessons. I got a lecture about saving money. One evening, I finally asked my mother why. She looked genuinely confused. "Why what? Why do you always choose him?" The room went silent. Then she laughed. Actually, laughed. "Oh, Sarah, you're being dramatic." That hurt more than any punishment ever could, because it meant she didn't even see it. Years passed. I worked hard, got good grades, earned a scholarship, and left for university. My parents barely helped me move in. My brother cried because he would miss me. My mother spent the entire day comforting him. Not once did she ask how I felt. After college, I found a job in another city, then another. Eventually, I built a successful career. I rarely came home, not because I hated them, because it hurt too much. One winter evening, I got a call from my father. For the first time ever, he sounded scared. My mother had been hospitalized, nothing life-threatening, but serious enough. I drove 6 hours through the night. When I arrived, my brother wasn't there. Apparently, he was too busy to come. Too busy. The same son my mother had spent her whole life protecting. For the next week, I stayed beside her hospital bed. I brought food, handled paperwork, talked to doctors, helped my father. One night, my mother woke up and found me asleep in a chair. She stared at me for a long time. Then she started crying. I woke up immediately. "Mom? What's wrong?" Her voice trembled. "I don't deserve you." I froze. She continued. "I spent your entire life thinking your brother needed me more." Tears rolled down her face. "And I forgot that you needed me too." For the first time in years, neither of us spoke. We just cried. My father stood in the doorway, silent, ashamed. Then he said something I never expected. "I should have stopped it." He looked at me. I knew. I always knew. That was the first honest thing he had ever said. A month later, my mother came home from the hospital. Things didn't magically become perfect. Years of hurt don't disappear overnight. But something changed. For the first time, my parents stopped treating me like the child who could handle everything. For the first time, they saw how much pain they'd caused. And for the first time in my life, I felt like their daughter. Not the strong one, not the responsible one, just their daughter. And strangely enough, that's all I'd ever wanted.